In this recording, we will discuss about PLA 1, covering the two questions you'll see on the screen. Before we formally start discussing our subject, I asked you to familiarize yourself about the Bill of Rights or the Article 3 of the 1987 Constitution. Why? Because the 1987 Constitution is the fundamental law of the land. When we say fundamental law, it prevails over any other laws. So kung naay balaod, for example, RA 123, kung mo-contradict gali na siya sa Constitution, ang particular provision na nga balaod will be declared unconstitutional. So, the Bill of Rights, which is Article 3 of this 1987 Constitution, regulate the right or the powers of the state sa pag-exercise ani ni ang tulo ka powers. Police power, power of eminent domain, and power of taxation, which we will learn later on. Article 3 of the 1987 Constitution is the Bill of Rights. It is a declaration and enumeration of a person's fundamental civil and political rights. It governs the relationship between the individual and the state. Diba I said earlier that there are three fundamental powers of the state, namely police power, power of eminent domain, and taxation. So this Bill of Rights will govern or will regulate the exercise of the state of these powers. The Bill of Rights is generally self-executing. When we say self-executing, wala na siya makinahanglan og another law para ma-execute siya or para mo take effect siya. Generally, the articles under Article 3 of the 1987 Constitution are self-executing. So, it stands alone. Each article or each section stands alone. Wala mag-need og any other law para mo take effect siya or para ma-implement siya. The Bill of Rights is a protection against arbitrary actions of government and other members of society. So it accords the dignity and worth of an individual. Mao ni siya ang importance sa ato ang Bill of Rights. Section 1, Article 3 protects two rights, the right to due process and the right to equal protection of the laws. So, the section reads, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor shall any person be denied the equal protection of the laws. Life, unsa may pasabot og life? It includes the right of an individual to his body in its completeness, free from dismemberment, and extends to the use of God-given faculties. Liberty, unsa may pasabot og liberty? It includes the right to exist and the right to be free from arbitrary personal restraint. Property, unsa may pasabot ani property? It is anything that come under the right of ownership and subject of a contract. Pwede siya nga mo represent og things. It also includes the right to secure, use, or dispose of these things. So, wala lang siya maglimit sa butang mismo. Article 3, Section 1 covers any governmental action. Diba I said earlier nga ang Article 3 lagi the Bill of Rights pertains or regulates the relationship of individual and the state. So, mo ni siya, gi-reiterate na pod balik. It covers any governmental action which constitutes a deprivation of some person's life, liberty, or property. So, what do you mean by due process? It is a law which hears before it condemns, which proceeds upon inquiry and renders judgment only after trial. So, hears, meaning naapay hearing, paminawon sa kadaan before ka husgahan. Mo na siya pasabot og right to due process. Let's go to the scope and limitations of the right to due process. When we say scope, it covers all persons because it's universal in application without regard as race, color, or nationality. It even protects artificial persons. So you have to know that there are two types of persons na gitawa og natural persons, kita, kana mga gipangpanganak, napoy gitawag og artificial persons. So sa may example ana gi-create siya by virtue of a law or gi-create siya or na-come to life siya because of registration. Basta may example ana, corporation, ABC Corporation. So, insofar as artificial persons are concerned, ang protection ra nga gihatag ana sa Bill of Rights or the right to due process, nagpertain lang na siya sa property ana na ang maong artificial person because na detay life sa artificial person, di ba? Wala man. So, nabapod siya liberty? Wala pod. So, it covers only the right to property. This guarantee also extends to aliens. Kisam ning aliens kanang mga foreigners. There are two types of due process. We have substantive due process, and procedural due process. So when we talk about substantive due process, it inquires into the validity of the law. So substantive due process looks to whether there is sufficient justification for the government's action. Um, this aspect of due process serves as a restriction of the law-making or rule-making power of the government. For example, ang Congress magama kitay siya og balaod. So ang balaod di ba maghisgot man na siya og mga regulation, naghisgot po na siya og mga particular people nga gi-regulate. So kanini ang substantive due process, siya ang mo inquire whether kana nga particular balaod na ba siya sufficient justification nga gamon. Okay, so substantive due process asks whether the government has an adequate reason for taking away person's life, liberty, or property. On the other hand, ang procedural due process refers to the method or manner by which a law is enforced, meaning there is already a law. Unya gitan-aw lang kung whether sakto ba ang method or ang manner sa pag-enforce anang mao nga balaod. So ang procedural due process is the aspect of due process which serves as a restriction on the actions of the judicial and quasi-judicial agencies of the government. Kinsa man ang mo-interpret sa balaod, di ba ang mga courts man? So mo na siya nga procedure na ang atong gihisgutan. Okay, so mo na siya ang kalahian. Again, substantive due process, in short, wa pay balaod. Unya naay gigama nga balaod, gi-inquire whether ang kanaa nga balaod, ang unod anang mga mao nga balaod, na by sufficient justification for the government's action. Ang procedural due process nanay balaod, unya giunsa ang manner or ang method sa pag-enforce anang mao nga balaod. So kinsa man ang mo inquire, kinsa man ang mo tan-aw whether sakto ba ang pagka-enforce sa balaod, mao ni siya ang judicial department or quasi-judicial agencies. Mao ni ang mga courts nato. The second right protected in Article 3 is the right to equal protection of the laws. Mao ni siyang second nga sentence or clause diri sa ubos. Ang equal protection requires that all persons or things similarly situated, take note of this should be treated alike, both as to rights conferred and responsibilities imposed. So, similar subjects should not be treated differently so as not to give undue favor, na kitay gipaboran, and unjustly discriminate against the others. So, kani nga guarantee, it means that no person or class of persons shall be denied the same protection of laws which is enjoyed by other persons or other classes in like circumstances. So natay Supreme Court decision nga perfect example ani ang right to equal protection of the laws. So nay ordinansa nga gihimo ang Ormoc City nga gi-declare void siya sa Supreme Court. Nga naman, ang ordinansa manggod, nag-tax lang siya sa centrifugal sugar nga gi-produce sa or gi-export siya sa Ormoc Sugar Company. Unya, upon studying about the law, nag-limit siya or nag-isolate ra niya nga ang katong gitaksan ra ang Ormoc Sugar Company kay na may provision dito sa balaod nga kung naay sugar central nga ma-establish sa Ormoc nga bag-o, it would not be subject to the ordinance, meaning ang ordinansa mura ra siya og mo-apply ang pag-tax or pag-assess og fees adtong particular Ormoc Sugar Company. So it was held by the Supreme Court in Ormoc Sugar Company versus Treasurer of Ormoc City nga void ni siya nga balaod nganuman it violates the right to equal protection of the laws nganuman kay nahugman nga unjustly na discriminate na hinuon si Ormoc Sugar Company. Okay, so mo na siya ang perfect example ani ni ang right to equal protection of the laws. Section 2, Article 3 refers to the right to be secure against unreasonable searches and seizures. You have to memorize this one because this is important sa inyong future nga mga profession as police officers. This section tells us about the requirements of the law for the issuance of a search warrant and warrant of arrest and kung unsa ang effect kung i-violate nato ang mga requirements. So this law reads, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures of whatever nature and for any purpose shall be inviolable, and no search warrant or warrant of arrest shall issue except upon probable cause to be determined personally by the judge after examination under oath or affirmation of the complainant and the witnesses he may produce, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. The nature of this right to be secure against unreasonable searches and seizure, it is directed against the government and its agencies. So sa ilahang actions, this right cannot be set up against acts committed by private individuals. You have to take note of that. So let's go to the scope of this right. It covers natural persons and artificial persons to a limited extent. So sa natural persons, it covers everybody, including aliens. Let's go to the requirements for the issuance of a warrant of arrest. A warrant of arrest must refer to one specific offense only. So these are the requisites: existence of probable cause, determination of probable cause personally by the judge, after personal examination under oath or affirmation of the complainant and the witnesses he may produce, on the basis of their personal knowledge of the facts they are testifying to. Kinsa man si si complainant and the witnesses, meaning personal knowledge ni complainant ug ni witnesses. And lastly, the warrant must describe particularly the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. So let's go to the personal examination by the judge. How is it done? So ang personal examination by the judge must be in the form of searching questions and answers in writing and under oath. So the law requires nga dili siya mere affidavits of the complainant and the witnesses only. Dili siya sufficient. The examining judge has to take depositions in writing of the complainant and the witnesses he may produce and attach them to the record. Kaning depositions in writing, kanang pangutana ba? Q&A, nga written form lang siya. This is necessary in order that the judge may be able to properly determine the existence or non-existence of probable cause and to hold liable for perjury the person giving it if it will be found later on nga his declarations are false. Ngano man nga pwede man siya ma-filean og perjury, di ba? Ang giingon diri under oath siya or affirmation, meaning ninghurar siya sa notaryo publiko. So, the law also requires nga dili pwede nga si judge must simply rehash the contents of the affidavit, meaning i-repeat ra niya pangutana kung unsay contents affidavit. Dapat ang iyang inquiry must be probing and exhaustive, meaning iyaha jud siyang tukion, pangutan-on na siya mga follow-up questions. Okay, so mo na siya pasabot ang personal examination by the judge after oath or affirmation of the complainant and the witnesses he may produce. Okay, so mo na siya ang pasabot ani ni ang requirement. We will learn later on nga lain-lain ang mga requirements for the issuance of a warrant of arrest which is governed by Rule 112 as opposed to the requisites for the issuance of a search warrant which is governed by Rule 126 of the Rules of Court. We will learn na later on. Next, we have to take note of this very important point. Di ba sa requirement for the issuance of a valid warrant of arrest is the personal examination of the judge? So you have to know that what the Constitution underscores is the exclusive and personal responsibility of the issuing judge to satisfy himself of the existence of probable cause. So in satisfying himself of the existence of this probable cause, for the issuance of a warrant of arrest, the judge is not required to personally examine the complainant and his witnesses. So, following established doctrine and procedure, si judge shall personally evaluate, number one, the report and the supporting documents submitted by the fiscal or the prosecutor regarding the existence of probable cause, and on the basis thereof, issue a warrant of arrest. Or, number two, if he finds no probable cause, he may disregard the fiscal or the prosecutor's report and require the submission of supporting affidavits of witnesses to aid him in arriving at a conclusion as to the existence of probable cause. So, mo ni siya ang kalahian sa probable cause requirement sa issuance of a warrant of arrest versus issuance of a search warrant. Kung kaadto na ta sa search warrant, naa jud siya dapat personal examination. Pero sa issuance sa warrant of arrest, ang requirement sa balaod nga personal examination nag-refer sa exclusive and personal responsibility niya nga mo satisfy himself based on the report and the supporting documents submitted by the fiscal. So it is not required nga mo personal examine jud siya sa complainant and the witnesses. Here, naghatag ni siya og definition kung unsa ang pasabot sa existence of probable cause. You have to read through this. Another requirement for the issuance of a valid warrant of arrest is the determination by the judge of a probable cause on the basis of the witnesses or the complainant's personal knowledge of the facts they are testifying to. Meaning, dapat dili hearsay, dili pasapasang information, but based siya sa personal knowledge of the complainant and the witnesses. So, the arrest warrant must describe particularly the person to be seized by stating the name of the person to be arrested, and if not known, then a John Doe warrant may issue with some descriptio persona that it will enable the officer to identify the accused. So in one case, the Supreme Court ning rule nga ang John Doe warrant issued against 50 John Does, 50 kabuok, none of whom the witnesses could identify, were considered as general warrants and thus void. Ngano man, nabi requirement of personal knowledge, unya giunsa nga si witness dili man siya maka-identify. So, mao na siya nga importante nga ang John Doe warrants to be valid, dapat napod siya maka-identify po si witness because it is required that the witness and the complainant has personal knowledge of the facts they are testifying to. So kung requirement siya nga dapat na kay warrant of arrest before ka mo arrest, are there instances nga valid ang pag-arrest without a warrant? Yes. It is laid down in Rule 113, Section 5 of the Rules on Criminal Procedure, which we will study later on. So unsa maning tulo? In flagrante delicto, number 1, number 2, hot pursuit, number 3, arrest of escaping prisoners. So, ato ni siyang mahibawan in detail later on. So, arita sa inflagrante delicto. Sa may pasabot og inflagrante delicto, caught in the act, when in his presence, the person to be arrested has committed, past tense, is actually committing, present tense, or is attempting to commit an offense. In his presence ha, mo ni siya ang requirement. In your presence, kung mahimo na mo mga pulis, the person to be arrested has committed, is actually committing, or is about to commit an offense. Mo na siya ang pasabot sa inflagrante delicto. So, you learned last time sa inyong lessons nga kaning rebellion, for example, is a crime nga continuing. So meaning, kung continuing ang offense, a rebel may be arrested without a warrant at any time of the day or night. Nga naman, because it is a continuing offense. It is the ruling of the Supreme Court in Umil versus Ramos. How about kidnapping? Di ba si kidnapping with serious illegal detention is also a continuing crime? So pwede ba nga mag-aresto ra ka anytime of the day or night sa usa ka kidnapper? Dili. Nga naman, it can be considered continuing only ang kaning kidnapping when the deprivation of liberty is persistent and continuing from one place to another. So, kung mo-stop gali ang deprivation sa liberty, it stops as a continuing offense. So, dili na siya matawag na in flagrante delicto. Okay, so how about by bust? By bust operation is a valid in flagrante arrest. So, ang subsequent search and ang person arrested and the premises within his immediate control is valid as an incident to a lawful arrest. So, muna siya mga examples sa in flagrante delicto nga arrest nga valid even without warrant. Sa hot pursuit arrest, kaning item 2, when an offense has just been committed and he has probable cause to believe based on personal knowledge of facts or circumstances that the person to be arrested has committed it. As opposed to number 1, ang sa number 2, wala siya sa iyang presensya, wala ang in his presence. So meaning, nakahibaw siya nga naay krimen nga na-commit based on personal knowledge, pero dili siya mismo ang nakakita, dili po siya mismo ang nakadungog. For example, kana kitay naa sa kulon na ay mga kasikas nga naay nagsagit na didto nga naay kawat or naay napusilan unya naay nakit-an ang pulis nga naay nagdagan-dagan nga mo escape. So, naa siya personal knowledge nga sa base sa iyahang observation, probable cause nga posible kani nga person nga nagdagan-dagan mo ang nag-commit at totoo nga krimen. Bisan pa og wala siya mismo sa scene. Okay? So, unsa man ang requirements sa balaod ani? Number 1, that the offense has just been committed. Pero not sa iyang presence. Ikaduha, the person making the arrest has probable cause to believe based on personal knowledge. Meaning, sa iya yung personal knowledge, nakita niya, unya na siya probable cause to believe that the person to be arrested has committed the offense. Take note that there must be a large measure of immediacy between the time of the offense and the time of the arrest. So, kung kanus-an na-commit ang offense o ang time sa arrest, dapat na adyoy a large measure of immediacy requirement sa balaod nga dapat immediately na adjud siya arrest nga nahitabo. If there was an appreciable lapse of time between arrest and the commission of the crime, the warrant of arrest must be secured. Dili na siya balido ang hot pursuit nga warrantless arrest. An example, in the case of People versus Kimura, the Supreme Court ruled that warrantless arrest of an accused for selling marijuana 2 days after he escaped is invalid. Nga naman, wala naman ma-maintain, wala na ma-comply ang measure of immediacy nga gi-required sa balaod. The third exception sa requirement of a warrant of arrest is the escaping prisoner. So, ang item 3, when the person to be arrested is a prisoner who has escaped from a penal establishment or place where he is serving final judgment or is temporarily confined when his case is pending, or has escaped while being transferred from one confinement to another. So that's self-explanatory. Imagine lang ninyo nga kanang mga salida ni Coco Martin nga naay mga pulis unya nag-transfer sila og mga piniriso paingon sa next lain nga establishment sa Muntinlupa kintahay sa pag-travel paingon sa Muntinlupa ning escape ng mga piniriso. So kana mga piniriso nga ni escape may be arrested even without a warrant of arrest because it is a valid warrantless arrest under Item 3, Section 113 or Rule 113, Section 5 of the Rules on Criminal Procedure. So are there instances nga valid ang warrantless arrest even gawas adto ang Rule 113 Section 5? Yes. Unsa man based on Supreme Court rulings na additional exceptions. Number 1, when the right is voluntarily waived, meaning siya mismo ang katong tawo nga ni arestuhon nga walay warrant of arrest, iyang gi-waive ang iyahang katungod. Ikaduha, violent insanity kanang buang nga murag kuan na siya violente. So di kinahanglan pa ba ka nga moadto pa sa korte nga hala di sa nang dakpon oy bahala og nagwild na siya kay kinahanglan kog warrant of arrest. No, ngano man kay it is part of the exceptions ang violent insanity. So let's go to warrantless search. So again as a general rule, before ka mo search, dapat na kay valid search warrant. Kay kung dili manggali ka makakuha og search warrant, tanan nimong nakuha ana na ang imuha nga pag-search will be inadmissible as evidence in any proceedings and for any purpose. So nabay mga instances nga pwede ka maka-search without a valid search warrant? Yes, so mo ni siya ang mga instances wherein pwede ka maka-search without a search warrant. So, ang item 1, importante ni siya, ako na siya gi-highlight because sometimes mo ni siya ang kanunay nga ma-mistaken ta. Search incident to a lawful arrest. It is governed by Rule 126, Section 12. So, when we say incident to a lawful arrest, dapat mag-una ang lawful arrest. Unya, incidentally or incident thereto, ang person nga inyuha nga giaresto, pwede ninyo ma-search for dangerous weapons or anything which may be used as proof of the commission of an offense. So, you have to take note nga dili dapat mag-una ang search. Unya, ana magsunod ang arrest. Dili na siya valid. Dapat mag-una ang valid or lawful arrest. Unya, mo search ka. Kay valid siya even without a warrant. So, what are the tests for validity? Ano ni ang search incident to a lawful arrest? Number 1, the item to be searched must be within the arrester's custody. Meaning, katurang dangerous weapons ka within sa iyang kustodiya. Ikaduha, the search was contemporaneous with the arrest. Meaning, incidental siya. Dungan siya sa arrest. You have to take note also nga ang search, it is confined sa person who had been arrested. Di mo pwede nga makapang-search sa iyang mga kauban. So, katuto ang person to be arrested or who had been arrested. Unya, as a general rule, ang place or premises where the arrest was made can also be searched without a search warrant, pero ang extent and reasonableness of the search must be decided on its own facts and circumstances. So, kuan siya, tan-awon jud siya kung sa factual nga mga circumstances kung reasonable ba ang inyong pag-perform sa pag-search without a warrant. Next item that we need to learn is the exclusionary rule. Unsay pasabot og exclusionary rule? Mo ni siyang rule which declares that the evidence secured by a person or by an officer in violation of the right to be secure against unreasonable searches and seizure is inadmissible in evidence for any purpose and in any proceeding. So, it is also ruled upon by the court in Stonehill versus Jokno. So, this section, Section 3, Item 2, Article 3, reads, any evidence obtained in violation of this, meaning sa kaninya nga section, Section 3, or the preceding section. Unsa man ang preceding section? Section 2. Unsa ang hisgutan sa Section 2? Right to be secure against unreasonable searches and seizure. So, kung mo-violate kuno ka sa Section 3 o sa Section 2 of Article 3 or the Bill of Rights, ang tanang ebidensya obtained in violation of these sections, section 2 and 3, shall be inadmissible for any purpose and in any proceeding. So this is the exclusionary rule, meaning di ninyo magamit ang ebidensya bisan pag-unsa ang purpose, bisan pag-unsa ang proceeding. Section 3 of the Bill of Rights talks about the privacy of communication and correspondence. So, ang privacy of communication and correspondence shall be inviolable except upon lawful order of the court or when public safety or order requires otherwise as prescribed by the law. So, si Section 3, as earlier mentioned, talks about, ang item 2 talks about the exclusionary rule, meaning, kung i-violate ning privacy of communication and correspondence o katong section 2, katong right to be secure against unreasonable searches and seizure, ang evidence secured in violation of these sections shall be inadmissible in evidence for any purpose and in any proceeding. So, kano sa man allowed kung arita maghisgot sa privacy of communication and correspondence? Are there instances nga pwede nga na-intrusion ang government sa ilahang sa privacy sa usa ka tawo? Yes, kung naay lawful order sa court or when public safety or public order requires otherwise. So what are covered anini ang correspondence, term nga correspondence? Naghisgot nig letters, messages, telephone calls, telegrams, and the like. So mo ni siya ang balaod nga gipanukaran sa anti-wiretapping law katong si RA 4200 nga ning make illegal for any person or not authorized by all parties to any private communication to secretly record such communication by means of a tape recorder. Okay, so mao ni siya ang provision sa Constitution kung asa nagbase ang anti-wiretapping law or RA 4200. So if you violate that law, mugtap ka bisan pag wala kay authority, wala kay consent sa all parties to the private communication, meaning all parties. So kung tulo ta naghisgot og sekreto privately, dapat kitang tulo mo authorize sa pag-record ana kay all parties to any private communication man ang required sa balaod. So kung mo violate ka ana, any evidence secured, meaning natong tulo, for example tulo ta nag-istorya, walay consent natong tulo, kanang recording nimo sa atoang communication cannot be used in evidence for any purpose and in any proceeding because of the exclusionary rule. Section 4 of the Bill of Rights talks about freedom of expression. So, unsa man ang components ani expression sa speech, expression, and press include written or spoken words, symbolic speeches, kaning wearing of armbands, a symbol of protest, movies. So, unsa man ang scope sa protected nga freedom, any and all modes of protection are embraced in the guarantee. It is reinforced by Section 18, Article 3. So, unsa man ang naa sa Section 18, no person shall be detained solely by reason of his political beliefs and aspiration. Mao ni siya ang Section 4, Article 3. Freedom of expression states that no law shall be passed abridging the freedom of speech, of expression, of the press, or the right of the people peaceably to assemble and petition the government for redress of grievances. Mabitan ning diri sa Pilipinas, daghang magrally, daghang magtapok-tapok, mo-assemble sila para mo-petition sa government. Nganuman tungod anini ang freedom of expression, it is a constitutional right. So unsa man ang mga instances nga ma-violate ang freedom of expression, natay gitawag og prior restraint or censorship. Usa pasabot og censorship, meaning ang government naghatag o nag-require siya una og prior approval sa government before maka-peaceably assemble ang grupo sa mga tao para maka-express sila sa ilahang grievances. For example, so Ang censorship meaning gihimo siyang babag sa mga tao prior sila maka-exercise ani freedom of expression. So unsa man ang example nga valid lang ang pag-regulate sa government sa kaning freedom of expression, kana naa bitaw maghatag og mga permits, dili na siya censorship. Kitahay for example, kana kitay mangayo mo permit kitay sa LGU para mag-meeting mo dito sa gymnasium kaning public nga mga areas. Kana na ang pagkuha og permit, dili na siya invalid kay regulation na ba na siya. Gipakuha ra mo og permit pero wala mo gipugnan nga mo assemble mo dinha para maka-express mo sa inyuha nga mga grievances. Gihatagan lang mo og permit, gihatagan lang mo requirement for the permit para ma-regulate ang inyong pag-exercise ana. Pero wala mo pugni. So kana mga permit requirements sa LGU, dili na siya curtailment or wala na siya mag-violate sa freedom of expression. Ang pasabot aning censorship kanang approval mismo nga ni government nga being required by a particular ordinance or by a particular law before makatapok or before maka-express ang mga tao sa ilahang mga grievances or gusto nila nga ma-express in public. As earlier mentioned, di ba, ang freedom of expression, ma-violate siya kung naibalaod or naiordinansa nga in effect naghatag siya og prior restraint or censorship before nila ma-exercise ang freedom of expression. So, the law also says nga kung dili ka pwede i-restrain sa imuhang pag-exercise aning katungura, dapat pod dili pud ka dapat i-subject to government subsequent nga chastisement or kanang iparusa ka because of expressing your thoughts sa public. So, mo na siya ang freedom of expression. Naghatag pud siya ang requirement nga dili pud ka i-punish subsequent to your speech. Okay, so mo ni siya ang concept sa freedom of expression. So here, Section 5 of the Bill of Rights refers to freedom of religion. So, unsa may basis ani? It is rooted in the separation of church and state. So, unsa may pasabot ani freedom of religion? Section 5 says, no law shall be made respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. The free exercise and enjoyment of religious professions and worship without discrimination or preference shall forever be allowed. No religious test shall be required for the exercise of civil or political rights. So, sa first phrase ana, mo na gitawag og non-establishment clause. No law shall be made respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. So this clause prohibits excessive government entanglement, endorsement or disapproval of a religion. Mo ni siya ang non-establishment clause. In relation to non-establishment clause, the Supreme Court ruled nga kaning prayer bitaw and Bible reading in public schools violate this provision of the law or the Constitution. So it was declared unconstitutional. Kana requirement bitaw by the public schools nga mag-pray og Lord's Prayer or mag-Bible reading. Ano man, kay dili baya tanan pareho og religion. Dili pod tanan pareho og gituohan. So mo ni siya ang non-establishment clause. Ang second clause and in freedom of religion is the free exercise clause, which refers to dual aspect nga freedom to believe, mo ni siya, the free exercise and enjoyment of religious profession without discrimination shall be forever be allowed. No religious test shall be required for the exercise of civil or political rights. So, ang freedom to believe, it is absolute. Freedom to act on one's belief, subject to regulation. In one case, kaning Ibralindag versus Division Superintendent of Schools of Cebu, gi-allow siya or upheld siya sa Supreme Court ang kaning mga conscientious objectors nga dili bitaw sila mo salute sa flag kani bitaw sa saksi kanang Jehovah's Witnesses um, they cannot be compelled to salute the flag on pain of being dismissed from one's job or of being expelled from the school. So, mo na siya ang example sa free exercise clause. Section 6 of the Bill of Rights refers to the liberty of abode and freedom of movement. It reads, the liberty of abode, usay pasabot og abode, residence or domicile, and of changing the same within the limits prescribed by law shall not be impaired except upon lawful order of the court. Neither shall the right to travel be impaired except in the interest of national security, public health, or public safety as may be provided by law. So in one case class, the Supreme Court ruled kaning Villavicencio versus Lucban. Ang story magud ani nga kaso na ay mayor nga naghimo og ordinansa sa ilahang sa municipality nga wad-on ang tanang mga prostitutes ang particular nga lugar i-transfer sa Davao or somewhere in Mindanao. So si Supreme Court ning rule nga ang executive of the municipality does not have the right to force citizens of the Philippine Islands to change their domicile from one locality to another. The law defines power, and there is no law nor regulation that allows a mayor or a police chief to restrain the liberty of abode of citizens of the Philippines. So, gi-upheld sa Supreme Court ang right sa mga prostitutes nga magpadayong magpudyo dito sa Manila. Kay nagud kuno ilang pangitaan dito, so nganong but-an man sila og papuyo dito sa Davao. So, mo na siya ang liberty of abode and freedom of movement. Section 7 of the Bill of Rights talks about the right to information. It reads, the right of the people to information on matters of public concern shall be recognized. Access to official records and to documents and papers pertaining to official acts, transactions, or decisions, as well as to government research data used as basis for policy development, shall be afforded the citizens, subject to such limitations as may be provided by law. So mo na siya nga natay katungod nga mangutana sa ato mga kongresista giunsa nila paggasto ang ato ang mga kwarta, ang atong buhis. Nga naman kay naatay katungod ana protected under the Constitution or the Bill of Rights. Matters of public concern. Are there exceptions nga dili nato pwedeng i-demand nga mahibaw-an nato from the government ang katong mga data? Of course, because naman siya provision nga subject to such limitations as may be provided by law. So what are the examples of the restrictions? Number 1, national security matter. State secrets regarding military and diplomatic matters kanang ilaha kitay operations kinahanglan jud daay nga makuha na nato tanan. Dili na siya pwede kay pwede man pud maguba ang ilahang mga strategy, di ba? Trade secrets and banking transactions, criminal matters, other confidential matters. So these are the known or recognized exception to the right to information. So, dili po sa tanang instances nga makuha nato ang information tungod kay matters of public concern siya. So, there are recognized exceptions as mentioned earlier. Section 8 talks about the right to association. It reads the right of the people, including those employed in the public and private sectors, to form unions, associations, or society for purposes not contrary to law shall not be abridged. So, unsa may pasabot ani kana mga union bitaw sa mga kung magtrabaho na mo class kana mag-create og union para naa sila collective nga protection sa ilahang grupo against mga kanang abuso sa mga employers, mao ni siya right to association. However, ang requirement sa balaod class, you have the right to association basta ang imong purpose is not contrary to law. So, mao na siya ang requirement. So, unsa maning section 9, it talks about the right to property, talks about eminent domain. So, eminent domain class is one of the 3 powers, di ba? Fundamental powers of the state. Let's review. Number 1, police power, kana mag-regulate. Number 2, Eminent domain. Unsa man ang eminent domain? Kanang taking of private property for public purpose. Unsa may mga classic example ana? Kanang insuha nga mga yuta nga giagian sa DPWH. Kanang mga yuta nga kanang giagian sa mga transmission. So kanang mga yuta nga gamiton for public buildings. Kana naa siya, mo na siya mga example og exercise sa state sa power of eminent domain. Meaning, gikuha ang private property for public purpose. Section 9 reads, private property shall not be taken for public use without just compensation. So, ang pasabot ra ani class nga, kung kuhaon ng private property for public purpose, of course, napod siya requirement nga bayaran or i-compensate po sa government ang owner sa property. So, generally, these are the requirements. The taking of private property for public use with just compensation, and there must be due process. Section 10 of the Bill of Rights talks about the non-impairment of contract. Sa pasabot og non-impairment of contract. The law reads, no law impairing the obligations of contracts shall be passed. Impairment class, meaning giguba, is anything that diminishes the efficacy of the contract. You have to understand, class, that when two parties or when parties enter into a contract, that contract becomes the law between the parties. So, kung naay kontrata nga giintrahan natong duha, kanang kontrataha unsay nasulat dinha mo na nay law or balaod natong duha. So, ang kanini ang constitutional provision niingon ra siya nga ang Kongreso dili siya pwede nga mopasa og law or balaod nga makaguba sa obligation of contracts entered into between the parties. Kay nga naman, kay kana nga provisions ana maong kontrataha again is already the law between the parties. So this is a right. Right ni siya. Dili ni siya pwede nga i-impair. Section 11 talks about legal assistance and free access to courts. It reads, free access to the courts and quasi-judicial bodies and adequate legal assistance shall not be denied to any person by reason of poverty. This is why it is provided in Rule 3, Section 21 of the Rules of Court defines indigent party, katong party who has no money, kanang tawo nga way property sufficient and available for food, shelter, and basic necessities for himself and his family. So, mo na siya definition sa indigent party. Unsa may giingon sa balaod, kaning mga indigent litigants, mga indigent parties, exempt sila sa payment of legal fees. In fact, naatay PAW. Kay numdum mo sa PAW, di ba? Ang PAW, maghatag sila og legal assistance sa mga pobre na to mga igsuon. So, mo na siya mga, because it is a right under the Constitution. So, mo na siya nga reinforce ni siya nga provision sa law sa ato ang rules of court. Section 12, on the other hand, of the Bill of Rights talks about the rights of suspects. Gitawag ni siya og Miranda Doctrine or Miranda Rights. Unsa man ay ang naa sa Section 12? It reads, any person under investigation for the commission of an offense shall have the right to be informed of his right to remain silent and to have the competent and independent counsel, preferably of his own choice. And if the person cannot afford the services of counsel, he must be provided with one. These rights cannot be waived except in writing and in the presence of counsel. Mao na siya ang Miranda right. Ikaduha, ang right sa suspect against torture, force, or violence. Ang third, ang requirement nga any confession or admission obtained in violation of this section or Section 17 hereof shall be inadmissible in evidence against him. So, mura po siya sa exclusionary rule, pero ang nakalahi lang ani, ang ebidensya in violation of Miranda rights or sa Section 17 shall be inadmissible in evidence against him. So, against sa person ra nga gi-violate ang Miranda right. So, unlike sa katutuan bitang Section 3 o sa Section 2, katong exclusionary rule earlier atong gidiscuss, ang definition dito kay shall not be used in violation sa Section 2 sa Section 3 cannot be used in evidence for any purpose and for in any proceeding. So, mas broad to ang iyahang restriction. Dire, ang restriction, ang confession o admission obtained in violation of this section, Section 12 o sa Section 17, shall be inadmissible in evidence against him. So, specific siya. Sa fourth paragraph ani, the law shall provide for penal and civil sanctions for violation of this section. Miranda rights class came to birth class after the ruling of the U.S. Supreme Court of Miranda versus Arizona. So what is the basic doctrine ani ni ang Miranda versus Arizona? So the Supreme Court said or made it clear that what is prohibited is the incommunicado interrogation of individuals in a police-dominated atmosphere resulting in self-incriminating statements without full warnings of constitutional rights. Kung makabantay manggod mo class, kung police-dominated gali ang atmosphere, of course, makatug-an or makaangkon in town ang suspitsado, wala siya'y alamag sa kung unsay epekto sa iyang pag-angkon. So, ingana ang usual nga mahitabo. So, mo na siya'y gustong i-prevent sa Miranda Doctrine. So, unsa man ang Miranda rights? Miranda rights refer to these rights. So, ang person under custodial investigation must be warned that, number 1, he has the right to remain silent, that any statement he makes may be used as evidence against him, and he has a right to the presence of an attorney, either retained or appointed. In several instances, class, the Supreme Court ruled that for the police officer to satisfy this requirement, there should be clear questions and every right explained in simple words in a dialect or language known to the person under investigation. So these rights must be effectively communicated to the person under custodial investigation. So in one case class, waray siya ang gikuan kana under custodial investigation. Unya gibasahan la siya anini ang mga katungura. You have the right to remain silent, gibasahan ra pinaspas. So the Supreme Court ruled nga wala siya masatisfy ang requirement sa balaod kay ang requirement manggod dapat ang tao under custodial investigation must fully understand sa right o sa consequence in waiving those rights. So, mo na siya ang nahitabuan ng People versus Galit. So, in another case class, ning ingon si Supreme Court nga, inasmuch as the prosecution in this case failed to prove that before Duero made his alleged oral confession, he was informed of his right to remain silent and to have counsel, and because there is no proof that he knowingly and intelligently waived those rights, his confession is inadmissible in evidence. Nganuman, unsaon man niya pag-waive sa usa ka katungod kung wa siya kasabot in the first place sa iyahang mga katungod. So, mo na point sa Supreme Court. So, kung kamo, mahimo mo mga pulis, you have to effectively communicate the rights, these Miranda rights, to the person being investigated or person to be arrested. For that person to be able to knowingly and intelligently waive those rights para later on kung naamoy mga makuha nga confession or admission sa inyuha nga person under investigation, wala siya problema nga magamit siya in evidence later. Kay, again, as earlier mentioned, sa section, this Miranda rights class prohibits manggod class using in evidence against that person kung ning violate mo sa requirements sa balaod. So, useless ra ang inyong mga makuha nga mga ebidensya. So, kung mahimo na mo mga pulis, dapat klaruhan ninyo o communicate sa hingtungdan ang iyahang Miranda rights. This right is further reinforced by RA 7438 or the right of persons under custodial investigation. Unsa man ang giingon diri sa balaod, RA 7438 states nga any public officer or employee or anyone acting under his order or his place who arrests, detains, or investigates any person for the commission of an offense shall, number 1, inform the latter in a language known to and understood by him. So, dapat masabtan sa language of his rights to remain silent and to have a competent and independent counsel, preferably of his own choice, who shall at all times be allowed to confer privately with that person arrested, detained, or under custodial investigation. And if such person cannot afford the services of his own counsel, he must be provided with a competent and independent counsel by the investigating officer. Okay, so mo na siya ang requirements sa balaod. So, unsa man ning mga katungod nga gi-protect under 7438 nga ni-reinforce ani Miranda rights? Number 1, mo ni siya ang right to remain silent. What is this? This is a warning needed to simply to make the person under custodial investigation aware of the existence of the right. Number 2, right against self-incrimination, di ba? Ingnon man nato sila nga you have the right to remain silent and anything you say will be used, may be used against you in the court of law, blah blah blah, mamo na itong istorya. So, man na siya right against self-incrimination. The warning of the right to remain silent must be accompanied by the explanation that anything said can be and will be used against that individual in court. This warning is needed in order to make him aware not only of the privilege to remain silent, but also of the consequences of foregoing or waiving it. Another right is the right to counsel. So, under 7438, any person arrested, detained, or under custodial investigation shall at all times be assisted by counsel. Otherwise, the waiver shall be null and void and of no effect. The right to counsel class is modified and qualified under 7438. It says nga ang right to counsel mean competent and independent counsel, preferably of the suspect's own choice. So, kung wala po siya, mo na provided with one siya. Pero, wala mag-ingon ang balaod class nga kinahanglan siya mo request og lawyer para hatagan siya og lawyer. Kung wala siya lawyer, hatagan siya competent lawyer sa atuang pulis. His failure to ask for a lawyer does not constitute a waiver. Mo na siya timan-an ninyo class ha. Question: can the Miranda rights be waived? Yes. The right to remain silent and the right to counsel may be waived. So what cannot be waived? Ang right to be given, the Miranda warnings. Dili dyan na siya pwede nga ma-waive. What are the requirements for a valid waiver? Under Section 12, Article 3, the waiver, sa Bill of Rights niya, the waiver must be in writing and it must be made in the presence of counsel. Mone siya ang naa sa Bill of Rights, sa Constitution. However, bolster siya or strengthen siya ang requirements under 7438. So, unsa man ang requirements under 7438? Any waiver by a person arrested or detained under this provision or under custodial investigation shall be in writing and signed by such person in the presence of his counsel. Otherwise, the waiver shall be null and void and of no effect. So, mo na siya ang requirements sa 7438. Section 13 of the Bill of Rights talks about the right to bail. It reads, all persons except those charged with offenses punishable by reclusion perpetua when evidence of guilt is strong shall, before conviction, be bailable by sufficient sureties or be released on recognizance as may be provided by law. The right to bail shall not be impaired even when the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus is suspended. Excessive bail shall not be required. So this section tells us that before conviction, every person is bailable. So na jud siya right jud siya. As a matter of right jud na siya nga pwede siyang makagawas on bail. What is the exception? Except if charged with a capital offense and when the evidence of guilt is strong. Unsa man ni capital offense? Punishable by reclusion perpetua and when evidence of guilt is strong. So next item, what is bail? Bail class is a security given for the release of a person in custody of the law, furnished by him or a bondsman. Piyansa ba? Mo na siya, kwarta. Conditioned upon his appearance before any court as may be required. So it flows from the presumption of innocence. Before magud siya, kung mafailan magug kaso nya magsigig hearing, wa man na siya magpasabot nga guilty siya. Diba? Kay na may gitawag og presumption of innocence. So mo na siyang right jud siya to bail. Pwede siya makagawas. Nala siya exception. Kung ang kaso nimo is capital offense unya ang evidence of guilt is strong. So mo na siya nga dili na siya right. Privilege na siya. There are two types of bail. Number one, bail as a matter of right, motong katungod jud siya. And two, bail as a matter of discretion. Whose discretion? Sa court. Court's discretion. So, kabubuton siya sa korte based on evidence. So, arita sa bail as a matter of right. Bail as a matter of right, it is available in all cases not punishable by reclusion perpetua. So, matter of right jud siya. Wala siya discretion si korte, basta dili gali punishable by reclusion perpetua ang kaso, pwede jud siya makapiyansa. Bail is a matter of discretion. In case the evidence of guilt is strong, so kung gikasuhan gali siya og kaso nga punishable by reclusion perpetua, unyang evidence of guilt is strong. In such a case, according to People versus San Diego, the court's discretion to grant bail must be exercised in light of the summary of the evidence presented by the prosecution. So, the order granting bail or refusing bail must contain a summary of the evidence for the prosecution, followed by a conclusion whether or not ang evidence of guilt is strong. So, mo na siya ang bail as a matter of discretion. Section 14 of the Bill of Rights talks about the rights of the accused. So, there are several rights enumerated in Section 14, which will be discussed later on. Kung moadto sadta sa Rules of Court class governing criminal procedure, it is stated in Rule 115 that there are 10 rights of the accused. So, these are the 10 rights of the accused according to Rule 115. Criminal due process, bail, di ba nakisgot na taan ni, presumption of innocence, right to be heard, assistance of counsel, right to be informed, right to speedy, impartial, and public trial, right to confrontation, compulsory process, and trials in absentia. So, mani siya ang mga rights of the accused which we will learn exhaustively later on. Section 15 of the Bill of Rights talks about the writ of habeas corpus. So, unsa man yung writ of habeas corpus? Order to present habeas corpus, to present the body of the person. It is not limited only to the body. Body nga buhi ha, dili siya nga katotoang patay. Meaning, kung naay missing ba nga tao, i-order kung kisa ilang gikadudahan nga naa in custody na naa nga mao nga person, pwede nang ipa-order sa court nga i-present kuno na be ang kanang tawhana nga naa sa inyuhang detention. So unsa man ang main purpose aning sa writ of habeas corpus? Essentially, ang object aning writ of habeas corpus is to inquire into all manner of involuntary restraint as distinguished from voluntary. and to relieve a person therefrom, if such restraint is found illegal. Any restraint which will preclude freedom of action is sufficient. So, naghisgot in relation din siya sa mga restraint of liberty. Section 16 talks about the right to speedy, impartial, and public trial. It reads, all persons shall have the right to a speedy disposition of their cases before all judicial, quasi-judicial, or administrative bodies. Meaning, dapat ang ilang mga kaso ma-dispose of immediately or as soon as possible. Kay kung dili man justice delayed is injustice man, di ba? So, mo na siya purpose aning right to speedy, impartial, and public trial. Section 17 of the Bill of Rights talks about the right against self-incrimination. It reads, no person shall be compelled to be a witness against himself. So, you have to take note that this prohibition applies only to testimonial compulsion, meaning pagpugos nga mo testify against imong kaugalingon. It does not apply to material objects. So, for example ha, nga di ka makaingon nga, oy, gi-violate nimo ang right nako against self-incrimination, man di ko pwede nga mo testify. So, ingon ani, kung patestimonyahon ka against sa imong kaugalingon, meaning paistoryahon ka din ha sa korte or pagamuon ka o judicial affidavit, unya magamit na against sa imuha, mo na siya pwede nimo gamitan ana nga, oy, dili mo ko pwede nga buhaton ana, buhatan ko ana tungod kay nako right against self-incrimination. Ngano man, naay testimonial compulsion. Pinugsanay nga pagtestify sa kaugalingon against sa kaugalingon. Di na nimo magamit kanana ang objection kung ang imuhang object evidence atong gihisgutan. For example, gipasuot kintahay ka sa sapatos kay naa dito sa crime scene na ay sapatos nga nahabilin nga posible nga moarang ni murag Cinderella ba. Una, di kintahay ka musukod sa sapatos kay na kay right against self-incrimination. Dili na nimo magamit. Ngano man, walay testimonial compulsion ang pagsukod sa sapatos. So, if the act is physical or mechanical, the accused can be compelled to allow or perform the act. Ngano man, wala may testimonial compulsion. So, dili siya, and the result can be used in evidence against him. So, dili siya pwede nga gamiton nimo kung walay testimonial compulsion. Okay, mo na siya ang right against self-incrimination. Section 18 of the Bill of Rights talks about the right against involuntary servitude. It reads, no person shall be detained solely by reason of his political beliefs and aspirations. No involuntary servitude in any form shall exist except as a punishment for a crime whereof the parties shall have been duly convicted. So, naghiskot na siya og slavery, meaning kanang kuan ka, ipugos ka nga mo serve nga dili nimo kagustuhan. Section 19, on the other hand, talks about the right against excessive fines and cruel and inhuman punishments. It reads, excessive fines shall not be imposed, nor cruel, degrading, or inhuman punishment inflicted, neither shall death penalty be imposed, unless for compelling reasons involving heinous crimes, the Congress thereafter provides for it. Any death penalty already imposed shall be reduced to reclusion perpetua. The employment of physical, psychological, or degrading punishment against any prisoner or detainee or the use of substandard or inadequate penal facilities under subhuman conditions shall be dealt with by law. So this is strengthened or bolstered under RA 9346 or the Act prohibiting the imposition of death penalty in the Philippines. So presently, ang death penalty gi-reduce na siya into reclusion perpetual. Wala na jud tay death penalty since June 24, 2006 because of this constitutional provision. Kani, ganahan mo ani katong mangungutang. So, Article 3, Section 20 talks about non-imprisonment for debts. It reads, no person shall be imprisoned for debt or non-payment of a poll tax. Pero wala ni siya magpasabot class ha, nga wala siya mapriso sa utang. Mapriso ka kung gihimo nimo nga collateral sa imong pagpangutang nga ning issue ka og cheque. Kana nagpasalig ka nga naa kay kwarta nga ikabayad later on. So, mo na nag-issue kag check kay kung mo bounce na nga mao nga cheque, preso jud ka. So, dili na saktuha nga way mapriso sa utang, way mapriso tinuod kung wa ka mo issue og cheque nga ning bounce. Pero kung ni-issue na gali kag check, that's another story. Section 21 talks about the right against double jeopardy. It reads, no person shall be twice put in jeopardy of punishment for the same offense. If an act is punished by a law and an ordinance, conviction or acquittal under either shall constitute a bar to another prosecution for the same act. So, ang pasabot ra aning double jeopardy class, once a case is dismissed, dili na siya magamit ang the same facts para filean po kag another case. It constitutes a bar to another prosecution for the same act. For example, i-filean kitay kag kaso, gidismiss sa RTC. Kung dismiss na gali na siya sa RTC, dili na magamit ang the same facts anang kasuha para filean na po kag another kaso. Mo na siya ang right against double jeopardy. So kanus aman nga maka-establish ta nga kaning kasuha, kaning decision sa korte ani maong particular nga kaso, dili na magamit or ang facts ani ni ang maong nga kaso dili na magamit para sa pag-file og another case. So mao ni ang requirements. The court of competent jurisdiction, na say court of ang decision must be released or provided or ruled by the court of competent jurisdiction. Number 2, a complaint or information sufficient in form and substance to sustain a conviction. Number 3, arraignment and a plea of by the accused. Naadto na siya. Number 4, conviction, acquittal, or dismissal of the case without the express consent of the accused. So you will learn later on in detail kanini ang mga requirements when we talk about the rules on criminal procedure na. Section 22 talks about ex post facto law and bills of attainder. It reads, no ex post facto law or bill of attainder shall be enacted. Unsa may pasabot og ex post facto law? Mao na siya ang balaod nga ang iyaha nga effectivity or iyang coverage mo atras. So for example, naakintahay tay balaod, original nga balaod nga effective in year 2000. Ang crime committed is punishable by presyon correctional. Kauman, gifailan og kaso ang kaning tawhana. Based on that law, punishable by presyon correctional. 2 years after, naay balaod nga na-enact. Unya, ang kani nga balaura, naghatag na siyang punishment nga reclusion perpetua for the same crime sa katong balaod nga punishable in 2000. Pero ang iyahan nga kuan, iyahan nga penalty is reclusion perpetua. Ang provision aning 2002 nga balaod, nga bag-o nga balaod, ning ingon nga this law shall be applicable retroactively to all crimes committed prior to year 2002, meaning covered tanan bisan pa ang katotoang mga acts nga wala na-commit nga wala pa ning balaura. So kanang pagpaatras niya unya in effect nahimo siya nga unfavorable sa katotoang mga na-file na ng kaso sa una. Ngano unfavorable man, ni pataas gud, napadako gud ang sentensya, ang penalty. So tungod kay wala siya mo favor sa accused, that law is an ex post facto law and that is not allowed under the Constitution. So unsa ang ex post facto law? Makes an action done before the passing of the law and which was innocent when done, criminal, and punishes such action. So meaning, ani kitay 2000, dili siya crime. Unya gifailan pagka 2002, nahimo siyang krimen. Unya ang action committed in 2000, pero ang law effective in 2002, gipaatras. So papafailan na siya kaso tungod kay criminal naman siya in 2002. So kana na ang pagpaatras or kanang provision nga kanini ang nga balaura in 2002 is applicable to all acts even prior to 2002. that constitutes an ex post facto law. Ngano man, dili man siya favorable sa akusado. Mahimo man siyang madihado man hinuon sila kay ngano nahimo naman criminal na hinuon ang act imbes atong time innocent or dili criminal ang act, nahimo na no criminal. Number 2, aggravates a crime or makes it greater than when it was committed. Kato akong previous example. 2000, prison correctional ra siya. Pag 2002, bagong balaod, nahimong reclusion perpetua. Nya kauman pa ang 2002 nga balaod, mahimong applicable sa tanang acts prior to 2002. That's an ex post facto law. So, these are the examples of ex post facto law. Ang Bill of Attainder, on the other hand, is a legislative act or a law which inflicts punishment without judicial trial. Kana bitaw diretso na o punishment, wa nay agi-agi og hearing, mo na siya ang Bill of Attainder. Is it allowed? No, because it is prohibited under the Constitution. That ends our discussion. I hope you learned something sa atong discussion today. Thank you.